Hi everyone, JJ here. Welcome back. Well, as you may have guessed from the title, this one's going to be a Q&A and some pretty harsh questions and comments, which I'm going to answer, which I think is more interesting than just these softball questions where people are praising. I'm going to answer some tough questions here. And as you can see on screen, the channel's recently reached over 10,000 subscribers. So thanks everybody who has subscribed along the way. Thanks very much. And as we'll see in these questions, some of the earlier people aren't so happy because the channel has changed and evolved along the way, as it will. Inevitably, every channel does. I've been doing this for nearly 3 years. Come March 2025, it will be 3 years. So 10,000. As you can see from this graph here, we've had some pretty exponential growth in the past few months. So that's great. And I'll show you some more analytics along the way, as well as these questions and answers. And I'm doing this now because it's kind of a milestone, and also I'm going on vacation or holiday, as we say here, for 11 days. So I won't be making a video for 11 days. Might be in the community section of YouTube, posting there, and on X, on Twitter perhaps, and Blue Sky as well. But I really want to unplug for that 11 days. I haven't really had a break from this since I started in March 2022. So anyway, let's get into these questions. Let's see. There's some pretty harsh questions here. Let's see. So I got these emails from Ben from Australia, which has been pretty unusual. I usually just get comments on the various content, but he emailed me multiple emails here. We won't call him a stalker just yet. Hopefully he's not. But he was a harsh critic, and rather than write long answers or not answering at all, I did answer him, but I said I'd answer some. I thought it might be an interesting video, so let's get into it. So he says, I listen to your podcast. Your political views are coming through the pod. Your pod is about stocks. You obviously are a typical lefty Kiwi bagging out on Republicans is just putting off your listeners. Stick to stocks. Have you considered people want to talk about stocks that go up and make money? Stocks that only go up, right? Well, this is a good talking point, I think, because it did start as a stock investing channel. If you go back through the videos, and maybe the first 1,000 or 2,000 people out of that 10 were those people. And I think that some of those have been getting put off by it. And the channel evolved into more of what it is now. More political is the way I wanted to go from that. And part of this is from where I live, I can't really give opinions about stocks all the time. You see these videos about 3 stocks to buy now, 6 stocks to buy now on YouTube. And it depends what jurisdiction you're in. Some people can do that if they're not a financial advisor, but really you can't give investment advice, and a lot of those people shouldn't be doing that. And they're selling like $1,000 courses. And so they're making money on the courses and honestly giving pretty bad advice, it seems. And they can kind of fake their returns. Like somebody like Meet Kevin, if you look at his ETF, for instance, PP, you can see the real returns there. It's easy when people are going day to day on YouTube to kind of fake the returns in different ways, put more money in from a lot of money they're making on courses. And I really didn't want to go down that direction, and I can't give advice. So it seems like I'm more opinionated now politically, and I can do that. You can give an opinion on politics, right? So next one, and this is all from Ben, but it could be other critics as well who must say much the same thing. I don't understand who you are targeting by this content. A bunch of lefties don't listen to this content. If you want a Jacinda love fest, make a podcast on women's rights. So I'm in New Zealand, that's why he's saying that. Jacinda was internationally famous, and a lot of men in particular really hated her being Prime Minister and her views. Anyway, your pod is just becoming your personal opinions and regurgitating the news. It's just JJ meets CNN, and that's because it's becoming more political. I am sort of left-leaning, definitely. I don't live in the US, I'm not a Democrat. I'd say that I am definitely a liberal, and the audience is turning out that way as well, gravitating towards the content. And he's saying that people who own stocks are generally Trump supporting, and that's not strictly true. There are a lot of Democrats who own stocks as well. I mean, if you look at some of the biggest investors in the world, Warren Buffett's a Democrat, George Soros, that's a trigger name, isn't it? And Elon has been literally called at Mar-a-Lago in a speech, this George Soros of the right. So, it's just personal preference in terms of politics. But, if I'm going to talk about politics, I'm going to talk about it and give my opinion. You are not interesting. Your content is boring. Talk about stocks. Why are you going down this route? Stock people love Trump and Elon. All you are doing is putting them off. Well, that's the way it is. I'm going to be authentic here if I'm actually going to give my opinion. And there are plenty of other channels to choose from, as I just explained. So many stock channels. There's a lot of competition on there, and the channel's evolving. What can I say? You now have Elon derangement syndrome. Your personal views have nothing to do with stocks or Tesla. The world has changed. Woke is dead. That's why Trump won on a landslide. America was a mess. They win all houses and the popular vote. That's a landslide. Sure, I agree. This is actually Inauguration Day. Trump's just had that. Just sort of seen a few clips about that. I'm not going to make a video because I'm taking a vacation from YouTube and the pod for a while to be with family, so I'm not going to talk about that. As for woke is dead, Elon came up with the woke mind virus. I think that's his, and I think he came up with that. I don't think it's from somewhere else, and a lot of MAGA people took it on, but it doesn't mean to say that it's dead. It's just woke was taken up as an insult, but there are still a lot of liberal people out there. Not everybody voted for Trump, and the stats on my channel with a lot of people being disillusioned with mainstream media, which MAGA people talk about as well, are gravitating towards pods and channels. It was the podcast election. Joe Rogan supported MAGA. He was one of the biggest, but there are others as well. Now, after saying that I'm turning people off, he did check my views. I pointed it out to him and he said, check your views. Hating on Elon is definitely getting views. Millions hate him now. Have you considered addressing why Elon flipped from a Democrat to a Republican? Because California passed a law that he had no say in his kid transitioning and chopping off his dick. Okay? So they're the people that I'm dealing with the criticism here. And he's talking about Vivian, Elon's trans daughter, who has a lot to say for herself on Threads and criticizing him in many ways too. So it's good to look at both sides. And that whole thing was part of what really started to turn me off from Elon. Now, if you're getting value out of this Q&A episode so far, do remember to hit that like button to help the algorithm to spread it to more people. That would be great. Thanks. I was a Tesla shareholder. I mean, that's documented in my videos. You can see when that happened. I made about 100% out of it. And Elon, you can see from my videos documenting what I think of Elon and what's happening to him, not just going MAGA, all in on MAGA, donating to Trump over $250 million, so many things. And then the video gaming fraud that he's been involved in just in the past couple of weeks. The video gaming community online kind of hates him now for that. He's just lying. And I do think if he's lying there, where else is he lying? It's highly likely, and I think that'll be revealed, but we'll see how that goes, and I'll continue making videos, but also about other things too. Kind of want to get more variety in there, but frankly, people are very interested in Elon right now for sure because of what he's been doing. And he says, maybe you should do a video on why so many former billionaires who supported Democrats switched. So I can think of a lot. The tech bros ended up not liking the Biden administration, and they've sided with Trump, and people like Bill Ackman, investors, big investors, who's a value investor. I've done videos about Bill Ackman. He's a very good investor. And I just wonder what people like that think. I've been talking to Guy Spear on X as well, these people supporting Trump. And then being pretty silent. I haven't seen them saying much about when Trump just launched this crypto meme coin to and basically enrich himself and his family. They've been very quiet about that, willing to shut that out, ignore that, because I think they think they can get what they want from Trump administration when perhaps they didn't so much from the Biden administration. Although the stock market has been roaring over the past 4 years, it's done very well. So it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. And I do talk about stocks. I will talk about stocks in the stock market, but not individual stocks, and not buy this or buy that or whatever. But it's just the cultural landscape, the political landscape, the business landscape is kind of what it's focused on. Okay, now quickly, I want to just talk about some of the stats, and I want to thank everybody who subscribed here. Just over about 10,500 subscribers. It's going up exponentially. As I said, this is the time when it was kind of an investing channel, talking about stocks and investors. And then when I started pivoting a little bit, it actually did take off. And so there is demand, and people definitely want it. So that guy Ben was wrong about turning people off. There are a lot of people who do want this kind of content out there. Perhaps there was a a gap in the market, so-called people wanting to hear this kind of thing. And that's where it's going. Now you see over the past 28 days, I've had just over 400,000 views, which is pretty incredible from where it was. It's grown a lot. And you can see, how much that makes. Not a huge deal, but it's, 28 days times 13 is a whole year. So you can work that out if you want to. Watch time, 33,000 hours just in 28 days, which is pretty incredible to me since when I started. And subscribers, 2,500 just in that 28 days. So things definitely ramping up. And I am grateful for that. I'm trying to do more videos too. Now, geographies of viewers, if you're interested in that. So the US is nearly 50% of my audience, which is not surprising. I talk about US companies, US people, US politics. UK is around 10%. I think that's been going up lately. Also Canada around 9%. So North America together is majority. Australia, where Ben was from, is only 5.3%. And where I live, it's less than 1%. Part of the reason why I kind of don't make a pod just for this country, such a small population and small stock market as well. And if you're interested in this is the demographics. You can see not many young people, more older people. It's increasingly getting older, actually. Over 65 has gone up a lot since I started pivoting or talking about the politics and that sort of content. But really sort of an even split there, above 45 and 20% below 35. So as far as I'd say YouTube videos go and podcasts, it's definitely on the older side, which I don't mind. I mean, I am on the older side, so that's probably got a lot to do with it. You might be interested in this too. This is kind of where YouTube's going. People have been saying this, and it does seem to be true from my part. So people on mobile phone, it's 40.8% of listeners in the last 28 days anyway. And next is TV, more than 25% of people watching on TV. I mean, I don't have really very high resolution videos. Maybe I should do that in the future, but I kind of like not having it high tech and just sort of being more authentic and just talking to the camera. This is actually a webcam through my computer at the moment, and it's sort of quicker and easier, but people are still watching on TV, 25%, which is amazing. And that's one of the reasons why YouTubers have been making longer and longer videos. I make long ones sometimes, but I recently discovered this and looked at this, it's increasing that more and more people are watching on TV. I guess smart TVs with apps, that it's easier to watch and to sit back. And so it is why YouTubers are, if you see some quite long videos these days, that's the reason. All right, hope you enjoyed that bit of listener watcher feedback there, whether it was pretty harsh, and I hope I answered some of the questions and where the channel's going. And as I said, I'll be back in about 11 days to continue on with 2025. That was a milestone, and hopefully the year will go well for you and for the channel as well. And so let me know in the comments what you think of anything that I've said here, answering the criticism. I'd really love to know. Always love to know what the viewers and listeners are thinking. I really do love the comments and reading them. I do reply. Usually this goes live, it's like 2 a.m. my time, so I'm usually asleep. And as soon as I get up in the morning, I get up quite early, a few hours later, and the first thing I do is, see the questions and answer them. So I will see your comments when you comment. Now, if you're watching this on YouTube, I am going to put a related link on screen and also a subscribe link if you want to join the growing number of subscribers here. Thanks for doing that, and you'll get more of this kind of content from me in the very near future. Thanks to you for watching, and see you in the next one.